everybody. We're all going to get laid.
You're doing it. I ain't touching it. Nope. Here. I ain't touching it.
All right, live in 5.
Welcome, Golfing World. It's TGD today and the Rounde Table here at thegolfdirector.com. We got the echo, bud.
Well,
There
you're
it
talking loud enough.
I started off somber, just nice and. I took your tip. I just heard your golf tip.
Look,
for the World Am play is coming in.
Don't go with.
I'm going to go there.
Don't go with Daddy's philosophy of go ugly early and avoid the rush. Okay, let's go.
In other words,
Good morning, HR.
In other words,
good morning, Dr. Grind.
get her done.
Get her done. Home. If you're putting on your glove, do it slowly. As you pull the balls from your sleeve, do it slowly.
You ever had anybody get up and walk off your set? Because I'm about to.
I was thinking one more.
Oh, I very much appreciated your tip, dude.
End up on the ground.
We're playing tomorrow. Yeah. I'll take that into account.
Yeah.
It'll take me 5 minutes to get out of the car.
Well,
does anyway.
He'll be doing good. He'll
That's
be doing 5 minutes early because normally it takes him 10.
I mean, by the time
So
he
what
gets his
else
hair
is
finished, I mean,
Yeah.
really.
So should I listen to Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, or Sinatra as I'm driving to the course?
Floyd,
See?
comfortably numb.
Oh,
For your age,
little
Sinatra.
skin there, blood.
Your age, probably Sinatra. Bing
Sinatra.
Crosby. Bing Crosby's probably a little better fit.
Yeah. Guy Lombardo.
Yeah.
Boys, how are you?
Super great. And yourself?
Yeah, you look good, Al.
Thank you, sir.
Back in black.
Man, I'll tell you can't beat it.
Glad you're back. Glad everything's good, man.
Man,
Yeah, man.
I'm
Worked
glad to.
hard for you, I promise you.
I definitely. I miss both of you guys tremendously. I'm so
Don't make
happy
me
to be
cry
back
now.
here.
Don't make me cry.
Very happy. Very,
All right, tomorrow we're talking about playing HR3 and The Godfather is going to be out at River's Edge tomorrow for the, I guess, the soft reopening. Is that what you call it? A private invite?
Yeah, the introduction.
Yeah. So we get to
with the new greens, and like I said, it's one of our favorite golf courses. So
love
I'm
the
looking
layout.
forward to it.
We saw Professor Weldon here just a few minutes ago, and he said, George, you are going to be surprised at how good the greens are.
That's nice. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
I'm glad for him, dude.
I mean,
I'm just happy.
and he's looking good too. His health's not
Oh,
been real
God.
good, and he's,
Professor looks good.
he looks really
great.
good. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He looks great.
So
Wish him all the best.
we
too.
saw PGA professional Jimmy Biggs just walk by, and he looked as good as always.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Look, just get over your man crush. Jimmy always looks.
We got a lot of listeners out
He
here.
just
I think
won't
it might
spend
be a
with me.
good time to go ahead and throw this out. Biggs' house got broke into. We're in the Myrtle Beach area right now. There seems to be a lot of theft going on. So this is just
Tons.
something I'd like to bring to the attention to our viewers and our listeners. So if you see any bags out anywhere with Biggs' logo on them,
Yeah, and the PGA emblem.
PGA emblems, just kind of keep it quiet. Give us a holler. Let us know. There's a lot of thieving going on right now. So
There is a militia that's been put together, so we can go take care of it.
Yep. So if anybody sees anything, in that neck of the woods, please give us a call.
Yeah, including
Yeah,
10 dozen Nike yellow balls.
Yeah,
we
everything
see you
will be.
playing yellow balls. You better run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they say big.
Especially-
They say big time on them.
yeah,
So
big time.
If anybody sees any of those, give us a holler. Everything will be kept confidential.
Number one.
Yep.
Hashtag
Number one. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, that's crazy, dude. The crime that's currently ongoing in the
So
Grand Strand.
Just want to tell everybody,
It's a
just,
damn
just
shame, actually, is what it is.
stay on top of your toes. Right now,
Yeah.
double lock everything. It's just that time of the year at the beach.
Yeah. So, River's Edge reopening tomorrow, soft opening, and then Saturday they're having the official reopening with a Saturday scramble out at River's Edge, and I'm taking 16 players out there for that. Tons of fun: breakfast, golf, lunch, raffle tickets, drink tickets, all for $45.
That's a heck of a
Nice.
deal.
Can't beat it.
And everybody you've heard us talk about it.
If you're
I
a
mean,
platinum card member, you go for 35.
35. Yeah.
How about that?
Awesome.
But I mean, it's one of the best golf courses in this area, and it's a blast to play. You got beautiful views and vistas from the holes on the waterway, and then
And
the rest.
Jeff and Sebastian couldn't be two nicer guys.
I mean, they're
As far as
fantastic
welcoming
people
you,
out there.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
I mean, they just
So,
they put
and the
on
girls behind the counter,
Yep.
all of them just they're happy you're there. They're happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a chance, get up to River's Edge if you haven't been there, or if you have, you can head back up there because I've heard nothing but great things coming out of the the recent renovation. So next week is the World Am, guys. We're going to be busy next week. Golf Director will be at the convention center each night, I believe, broadcasting live.
Yep.
This year we'll be live.
Yep. I think I saw a post. You're planning on talking with Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah, we're talking Monday night at 8:25.
Yes, sir.
So I do that every year. So
We'll be there to heckle you.
I'll be there with
Oh, yeah.
George and Jeff and everybody up from the golfdirector.com up until I have to go on there. I'll go on there and do that, and then we'll be back doing it again.
Sounds great, man. We'll look
So-
forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun next week. I mean,
Yep.
50-plus vendors. The Golf Director will be there each night broadcasting, so it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be some celebrities there, so floating around. Maybe we get them on the air. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking
Be
forward
at least
to it.
3 there, I know of.
Mo, Larry, and Curly, the three amigos. That's right.
That's
right. It's a good thing they put those double metal doors on that convention center so we can get Hugh's head through there.
No doubt. No
So,
doubt.
yeah. He is so close. This will be a successful show if he gets up and walks off.
Everybody's got to have a goal in life.
All right, so Pro, I got a question for you. Round table, we got to find a discussion topic today.
No comment.
Yeah. It was released this week, the captain's picks for the Solheim Cup. And I'm sitting there listening to the picks. Of course, this was broadcasted on the Golf Channel, so, whatever. But the Solheim Cup is, for the LPGA like the Ryder Cup is for, quote-unquote, the PGA and the R&A. I'm sitting there listening to the names, and it's just I'm sitting there dumbfounded. I don't have words. I'm like, what? Who? And then all of a sudden, the last U.S. captain pick, Julie Inkster being the U.S. captain, she says, oh, and I've asked Paula Kramer to join the team. And I'm sitting here going, okay. I mean, Paula's played in several in the past, and, she's Miss USA, and she'll have the little stick-em tattoos all over her, and her fingernails will be painted red, white, and blue. And, okay, I can see that. Great in the clubhouse. No doubt about it.
We knew
Spirit
she was going
wise.
to be part of this. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
And I know.
And I asked you the question. And you jumped right out there and explained it to me. But what I wanted to bring up is here we are with the Solheim Cup and the way it's designed and organized, and we don't see half of the top 30 LPGA playing members in this Solheim Cup. We see one lady in there for the Team Europe that's 40 years old, 45 years old, and we just don't see the top players in this. Does this need to change? Does this need to expand?
Expand, yes. The Solheim Cup, no. Because you have in men's professional golf, what's coming up this year?
President's Cup.
What's coming up next year?
Ryder Cup.
What's the difference in the two?
Well, one's Team Europe and the other's Team World.
There you go. That answers your question.
I understand, Bub, but we're talking about ladies.
I understand that. They're
Okay.
going to have to, if you want the Lydia Ko's and the In Kyung Kims from Korea and girls like that, MB, MB parts.
Would it be?
But I mean, you're going to have to do something like that, George, because the
agree.
Solheim Cup was set up like the Ryder Cup for Europe and America.
Right now, the
I
LPGA.
got
no
you.
other way
I got
around
you.
it.
I see what you're saying.
There's no
I
other
agree.
way around it.
I agree. Right now, the LPGA is right at that cliff. They've been doing a wonderful job. Corporate sponsorships, number of events in a year. I mean, literally a couple years ago, Hugh, you and I sat here and talked about the demise. I mean, the LPGA could have disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. And where you're going with this is it too early to do it? Maybe not. But I mean, look at the top players in the world. They're from the other parts of the world, not from Europe and America.
Agreed.
That's a fact.
So
do
if
you
you
put a
want to
team-
see something like this with the best players in the world, You're going to have the LPGA is going to have to create this. They're going to have to. If they don't, then people aren't going to see it. And I don't know if the Solheim Cup is going to be that big a success.
Good.
The door's not big enough.
This is where I'm going.
Yeah, the door's not big enough, so we need to open up the door to allow more in. I mean, it makes enough sense.
So do you
People
make it
wanna watch
3
the
teams?
best golf.
Do you make it 3 teams?
No,
do you make it Europe?
No.
U.S., rest of world?
No, because then it's an absolute cluster bungle. As far
Okay.
as television, seeing certain play. I mean, they're going to be going this. You can't do it on one golf course. I mean, how are you going to have 3 teams trying to play each other and get it done?
Well, you got 12 members from each team.
You can't
36 players.
You can't do them in threesomes. You can't have individual matches. You can't have, all right, well, this person is playing, so if they win the hole, the other 2 lose. Or they're going to beat this one and not. No, it never work. Never work. You're going to have 2 separate and set it up on opposite years, and where one's this year, one's next year, and it's whether it's the U.S. against the world.
So you're
or
saying
Europe
coming up with a
against the
second
world,
Solheim Cup?
they're going to come up with a different,
it'd be
another President's Cup for
The President's
the
Cup.
LPGA. You don't have to call it the President's
Yeah,
Cup.
their
You
version of.
call it the Queen's Cup. I don't care, but I mean, you come up with something because you can't.
We'll call it the Trump Cup.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, instead of President's Cup, we'll call it the Trump Cup. Or the Hillary Cup. Does that make you feel better?
No.
Okay. I see where you're going, though. They want to
That's why
keep
we don't
it.
let him name nothing around here.
I know.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be one. I mean, because the Solheim Cup is the Ryder Cup of the LPGA.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
now if you want the rest of the world, it's got to become a President's Cup, and what do you call it, and how do you do it, and where are you going to play it, and it gives it more versatility. Because the one thing that we did talk about a couple of years ago was how bad the LPGA was floundering. Now all of a sudden, it's very popular.
Yes.
All right. The one thing that's happened.
I mean, they're back up above 30 events. That's fantastic.
And I'm not even talking about the 30. I'm probably talking about just the fact of who is watching on television. There
Ratings.
are more viewers
Ratings.
watching
Numbers.
the LPGA.
Yep.
Their
Yeah.
numbers are up.
Their numbers,
The
yeah.
popularity. You look at how many times they're on television, whether it's regular TV, the national networks, or it's the Golf Channel. They're on more. So they're making that comeback. The problem is, how do you get this to where this all works for everybody? So that's what's got to be figured out. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry how you solve this problem.
Come up with another event.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see any other way around it.
And frankly, right now, they could probably use it. Just simply stated on, again, more television exposure, more opportunity to sell corporate sponsorship. No.
Just going to grow. It just grow.
The problem you've got is, is it the U.S. that needs to play against the rest of the world, or is it Europe, or is it a combination of the I don't know, because I'm not sure the U.S. has got enough good players in the top world ranking that could compete with the rest of they can't compete with the rest of the world, I should say. I'm not going to say could. They can't.
You would be the underdog starting right off the bat.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Which right now the U.S. is the underdog in the Solheim Cup.
Yep.
They've lost the last 2. Although on paper, if you look at this year's, on paper, the U.S. squad's younger. There's more of them in the top 50 in the world. There's more of them that have more major champions on the U.S. squad. But yet, according to those in the know, that doesn't include me, and you know that, Hugh, they say the European squad is just dominant. So,
Well, it's a lot to do, George, and we've talked about this with the Ryder Cup. It's got to do with how the junior golfers in Europe are brought up. They're brought up and learn to play match play. They don't just play medal play stuff. They play match play. They play these county teams like, in England and Scotland and Ireland, and they're playing against each other in these type formats. There's not enough of it done here in the United States. It's all about who's the best, who wins. That instead of creating this team type atmosphere, and that's why we keep getting our butts kicked in the Ryder Cup,
in the Walker Cup.
and the Walker Cup, and then you start the President's Cup's changing. Now that Nick Price has gotten them to where they changed the rules in that, so that it's going to give them more of an opportunity. it's the way that the European team is brought up is what's the difference in the Solheim Cup. Do we have better players? Yes. They're just not accustomed to doing it with other people or relying on somebody else.
Right. And we've had this same conversation with the Ryder Cup format for years. Let's one thing I'm ecstatic about, folks, and I encourage you to watch the Solheim Cup. Try to keep up with me. I'll be giving you updates, of course, continuously during the Solheim Cup. But Azera Munoz is playing for the European squad, so I'll be giving an apparel update.
There you go.
How about that? Aren't you excited?
Well, I was watching the Golf Channel the other day because Heather and I were watching Faraday last night when he was doing
he's
the
great.
Peter
interview
Jacobson.
with Jacobson.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and there was an interview with your girl, you know, and she looked totally normal. But
She looked totally normal? What does that mean?
I mean, she just looked
What does that mean? That was a slam. Why did you say that?
because her hair was back and it was from the shoulders up, and it was a normal picture of a nice-looking woman. It wasn't this goddess as you've made her out to be.
She's just this year's Spanish flavor.
Okay, buddy. You know, whatever.
I don't know where I'm going to go next year. I have no clue. I got to make that decision though.
Your poor wife.
We've
God help her.
got a new season starting up here in a few weeks, so I got to make that decision. I'm serious.
I can tell he is. He's super serial.
I'm super serial.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
Super serial.
I'm Caesarean right here. All right, let's look at the real quick Solheim Cup. It's just so everybody's aware, if you haven't found out, you got Patterson, Nocera, Hull, Reed, Norquist, Munoz, Gale, Sagana, Matthew, Headwall, Mason, and Ishii on the European squad. You've got Matthew in there at 46 years old. You've got Norcia at 40 years old. Suzanne Patterson's now 34.
It's
Patterson, whatever. You just don't see her as 34 years old, though. I mean, it's
for
almost
a 34-year-old that's playing the LPGA. Don't play with her, George, because she'll outdrive you by 50.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, she's a banger, no doubt about it.
She has got game.
Yeah, and Ishii, who is a late add-on to the European squad, she's 36 years old. So, and then for the U.S. squad, you got Lewis, Thompson, Kerr. For whatever reason, Michelle Wee, Lincecum, Pressel, Stanford, Pillar, Salas, Lee, Lang, and Paula Creamer. So, European squad had 4 captains picks. U.S. squad only had 2. I found that to be interesting.
Yeah. And
So-
that's where Matthew got picked.
Ishii,
Yep. Mason and
Headwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Carolyn Headwall, I mean, she's ranked 107 in the world. But, yeah, she's on this squad. So, but she's got previous experience. So, she's 2-1-1 in Solheim Cup. Let's talk real quickly, guys. A few minutes spent on the U.S. squad. You got Stacey Lewis right now peaking for the season. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Let's look at Morgan Pressel. She's going to play well. She's 8-5-2 in Solheim Cup history. Allison Lee has no experience. This will be her first one at age 20. But I think it's great that she made the squad because, frankly, she played her way the last several events onto this.
I agree.
And then we've got Brittany Lang at 30, age 30, 42 ranked in the world, 5-4-2 in Solheim. Paula Creamer being the other captain's pick at 29 years old. She's world ranked 40 right now at 12-6-5. So, I mean, we look at the participants. I mentioned Michelle Wee, and I would love to get on this debate with you, Hugh. But I think she's there. I think that orthopedic tape that she uses, that company paid somebody to get her on the team just so they could have a walking billboard.
Well, I'm not going to touch that, but I agree with you from the standpoint that I don't see where she belongs. I mean, she has the points. She's earned it. Therefore,
Yeah,
she made the team. Would she have been a pick? No.
No.
No, not a chance.
No.
The only reason she is on this is because she had enough points before she got injured. But, I mean, she hasn't played well. But you look at this team, and honestly, I think they're going to be pretty darn good. Even the ones that have no experience, I think Julie will pair them up to get them comfortable early on.
Well, Julie's going to get them focused. There's one thing about it. I mean, there ain't another as competitive person out there as Julie Inkster.
Well, there's not a girl on this right here that would want to play Julie Inkster in something like this, even at her age right now, and she's older than I am.
Right.
This woman can still play golf and play very well, and you know she's going to demand it from these girls, and I'm hoping, and I honestly believe that she's going to turn this around to a different situation than we're used to seeing with this.
Well, I think she's soft tossing it right now in the fact that she's trying to make the U.S. squad the underdogs, and she wants to put a little bit of drive into the team.
She's playing the politics of it, and she is doing it to where she's giving them a reason to push themselves and to get serious about this.
Exactly. And, of course, the President's Cup's being played in Germany, so it's going to be, quote-unquote, in Europe's backyard.
Yeah.
So the fan support's going to be there.
Well, it's the President's Cup, though.
Yeah.
It's not the Ryder Cup.
I understand, bud. I understand. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Well,
okay.
Don't try so hard.
All right. Well,
now, South Africa, Australia, play it in China, different ball game.
Well, speaking of foreign play, of course, we have the President's Cup coming up in China for the men. So
it's going to be interesting with everything that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that's a good point. And again, you know, everybody tries to get up for the President's Cup, but you know, every leader that starts a story about President's Cup, you're basically 30 words into the script, and then it flips to Ryder Cup. They just always seem to flip over. You know?
There's always going to be the comparison. I mean, that's the reason it was created in the first place.
Yeah,
is to try to replace it for the rest of the world or create an event similar for the rest of the world, and that's where it comes from. So,
and I like that.
And I think with the Solheim Cup, if they do what we were talking about earlier, which I don't see how they can avoid not doing it, it's going to be the same thing there as well. But honestly, I think that could actually get bigger than this is, even though this has Mr. Solheim's name on it, because the players from the rest of the world are that much better than Europe and the United States.
Yeah, I think it's just sad. I think it's just sad for the LPGA, and I'll kind of leave this subject alone, and this is what started my whole thought process on this. I mean, I literally called you the other day and said, can you believe this, that you've got a Lydia Ko, number 2 in the world, and she's not able to participate in this event.
Well, now you know why, though.
Well, yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah.
I got it. I see that. So, but it's just a shame it's that way.
I agree. And I think that's where
I mean, we're looking at MB Park, not able to play in this event. The number 1 player in the world.
And to go back into this, George, I mean, say they go ahead and so the Solheim Cup's going to include the United States against the rest of the world. We'll never win the Solheim Cup.
No.
There's not a chance.
No.
So, I mean, what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. Yes, it's a shame, but it is a different animal. That's just the way you have to look at it.
Yeah. It's just they've got a insurmountable mountain to climb because you don't have the marquee names that are current for that particular year. Agreed. The ebb and flow of number 1 players, number 10 players, whatever that may be, and wherever they hail from, the ebb and flow.
And that's fine. But I tell you what, I will give this to the commissioner of the LPGA. Having Julie Inkster as your captain, having her on the Golf Channel, talking with different people here and there, and sitting there doing stuff, with the Golf Channel in prime time, talking about all this and putting and this person and what he has tried to hit that corner, and try to cut it off at the pass. You see what I'm saying? So he's gotten her involved in this to where she's up in front of it to try to help get people interested in what's coming ahead.
And they need all the help they can get.
Exactly what they need.
Yeah.
They need.
And I think that's a very smart play on his behalf and Julie's as well.
Yeah. Well, Julie Inkster, one of my heroes in the game.
Oh, she's one of the nicest, sweetest people, and I'm telling you, do not get on her bad side on the golf course, because she will whip you.
Right.
She's that good. I mean,
Yep.
she really, and she still is. She's proven it.
Well, I'm excited. It's going to be a great event. Of course, we're talking about the middle of September, and again, about the same time as the President's Cup. We've got the PGA Tour starting the FedEx Cup, the last 4 events for that. European Tour is in the Czech Republic this week.
My wife's
So,
homeland.
yeah. So, beautiful golf course, by the way. Very nice golf course. It's a shame nobody turned out spectator-wise today for the event this morning. So, compared to last week in Denmark,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was Ryder Cup last week in Denmark. I mean, hats off to those spectators. I mean, they turned out in groves. So, a lot to talk about later on in programs such as Pro Golf Talk Live and Tech Talk today. I think Dr. Grind is going to focus a little bit on the World Am. So, we're going to continue with the tips for those World Am players.
Definitely.
Agreed?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
looking forward to it. All right. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out those featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much, much more. Hey, if you need help with your next golf vacation, just call Dave. Give us a call right here at the Golf Director at 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. Again, all of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, you can click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1
billion.
You're getting good at that. Devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Al Cloyd, Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt, and Big Jeff behind the glass. We want to thank all of you for tuning in, and there's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.